I was so excited about the new Insta360 Ace Pro before it was released. I tried to take a guess about some features. Some of them were correct, some others were not, and the price range were correct as I guessed it, but I will not buy this camera, and here is why. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on my channel. I'm PhotoRabs. I do videos about photography, filmmaking, camera tech related reviews, unboxings, action cams, vlogging kits, and so on. If you're interested in these topics, I highly appreciate if you go subscribe to my channel. That's a massive help. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the new Insta360 Ace Pro that was released recently and why I will not get this camera even though it has lots of cool features. So let us dive in. As it was expected, this new Insta360 Ace Pro is a combination between this DJI Action 4 and this GoPro Hero 12 with a new AI chip in the camera. So we have lots of new AI features in it, and it is fairly priced on the lower end of my guessing range, which can make this camera a good deal for those who don't have an action camera yet. To be honest, I saw the specs of the camera and I watched lots of content on YouTube about this camera made by my favorite YouTubers and content creators such as Peter Lindgren, for example. I remember when he bought with his own money the DJI Action 4, the excitement level that he has and that we noticed through his video, but now he was given this Insta360 Ace Pro and his video was sponsored by Insta360 and we cannot feel the same kind of excitement.
I want to say thank you to Insta360 for sponsoring this video.
And add to that, he compared the new camera from Insta360 to the GoPro that has a smaller sensor size, about 47% smaller, while he can compare it to the DJI Action 4 that has the same sensor size, but he didn't. And that made me question myself lots of things. So in this video, I will share with you my honest thoughts about this new camera from Insta360, why I will not buy it, and why it's not interesting for me. But if you'd like to see me trying this camera, if you are waiting for my review about this camera, if you're waiting for some comparison between this camera and some other cameras in the market, let me know that in the comment section below. That's the only way to convince me to get this camera. I know that some of you might be interested in this camera and they were waiting for it for a long time, so I made a list of 5 pros and 5 cons about this new camera from Insta360. Let us start with the pros first. It has an AI chip in it, which is amazing. It can understand very well the environment around. It can apply the perfect correction, especially in the low light situations. This camera creates a montage directly out from the camera based on the peak moments of the footages that are recorded on the camera itself, so you can create content and share them on the go with a click of a button. It has a 2.4-inch flip-up screen, which is way bigger than the screen on the GoPro and on the DJI camera. The Insta360 Ace Pro is co-engineered with Leica, so it has a Leica lens and an aperture of f2.6 wider than the aperture 2.8 on the DJI camera. It has the great flow state stabilization, which is way better than the electronic stabilization that we can find on the GoPro and on the DJI cameras, especially in low light. These are great features, but for me this is not a camera that I might be interested in, because on the spec sheet I can still see that the DJI Action 4 is better than this new Insta360 Ace Pro, and here are the 5 cons that I found so far on this camera. The new camera has the same sensor as this DJI Action 4, a 1/1.3-inch sensor. On this camera we have 10 megapixels, on the Insta360 we have 48 megapixels, so we have about 5 times more megapixels on the Insta360 comparing to this one. And that means that the pixel size on this one are way bigger than the pixel size on the Insta360 Ace Pro. Let us leave the AI features aside now and talk more about the physics. If the pixel is bigger, that means we can gather more light and more information in it. That means that this camera can be much more reliable and much more interesting in low light scenarios and in low light conditions comparing to the Insta360, because we have pixel size about 5 times smaller than this DJI Action 4. But with the intelligence that we included in this camera with the AI chip, we calculate in real time the images based on the environment, on the normal light, on the ambient light around, and we can have some great images and some nice contrast and some nice shadows and highlights comparing to this camera probably. But that means that we are using the AI to the maximum almost all of the time, and that means that we will have some overheating issues that we don't have with this camera because we don't have the AI in it, and that means we can use this camera for a longer time comparing to the Insta360 Ace Pro. These are only my thoughts. The flip-up screen is a great feature. It's interesting for content creators and bloggers, but this is an action camera and I don't feel it will be as rugged, as solid and as reliable as the screen of this DJI Action 4. This one is not fragile at all, while the screen on the Insta360 Ace Pro, I believe it will break at some moment because of some action shots or some action adventures. These are my thoughts once again. This camera can shoot in 8K, but to be honest, who needs 8K in action cameras for 2024? And that's a big nonsense for me, because with 8K, that means we will need big memory cards, huge disk space, huge computers to process the data, and in speaking of the data, we will have a slow data transfer rate, which is a big problem on the Insta360 since 4 years now. We talked about it many times before, and we can see clearly that Insta360 are selling the data transfer unit that can be plugged on the camera. So that means that they did not work on this issue at all, and it's been more than 4 years we are talking about it and we still have the same problem. And now with the 8K resolution, that means that the files are gonna be huge, and I don't know how we can manage the transfer, because with the 4K resolution we had a hard time to transfer the files from the camera to the computer, and imagine now with the 8K. Add to that, shooting in 8K is very demanding in terms of power consumption. We will drain the battery faster than if we are shooting in 4K, and we will add some overheat issues to the camera because processing 8K footages with the AI chip in real time, that's a lot for a small camera and a compact camera. By the way, have you noticed that it's been more than a year now that in action cam industry they were proud to announce that their cameras are able to shoot in 10-bit. On this camera we see nothing related to 10-bit recording, so I believe it's only 8-bit. It could not be a deal breaker for some, but it could be a big issue for some others, by the way, because with 8-bit recordings we can have about 16 million of colors and variation of colors, while with 10-bit recording we can have up to 1 billion variation of colors, and that's a huge difference between these two kind of recordings, the 8-bit and the 10-bit recordings. On another note, this DJI Action 4 has a wider field of view compared to the new Insta360 Ace Pro. We have, I believe it's a 12mm lens on this camera, and we can achieve some wider shots and some narrower shots, some dewarp shots with this one. On the Insta360 it's a 16mm lens, even if we can have a super wide angle view there, but this one is wider and it's more suitable for action, I believe. For all of these reasons, I will stick with this DJI Action 4 and I will not buy the Insta360 Ace Pro unless you want to see a comparison between this one and the Insta360 that I can make for you. Let me know that in the comment section below, and that's the only way I can be convinced to get the new camera from Insta360 and try it out. And that was it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, share and subscribe, that's a massive help. You can check my affiliate links. I have lots of promo codes, lots of good deals about photography and videography products that I talked about previously on my channel. By buying from my affiliate links, you can save some money and you can help my channel a lot. And thank you for watching. Ciao for now. Bye.